Hello everybody, welcome back to Aurelia to episode 16. Last week we did quite a big expansion of this residential district around the pond and somewhat tied together places we built in episode 14 and even some later episodes as well. Today we will stay in this residential area and move to the third pond right there. I didn't manage to finish area as large as the one last time, but there will be a really cool looking tram stop with a plaza. Something we totally haven't built in like every second episode. I know. What can I say? I just like trams. Alright, anyway, let's go see how it was all built. Some of these shots that we can see in the beginning of today's video, I definitely showed in the previous episode as well, because it kind of made sense to, show that, but I was just doing some simple changes to how this pond, or this canal, looked like and doing some basic infrastructure. And most importantly, I positioned down even this train station. Now, this train station or the area around it is unfortunately not really going to be the topic of today's video. I did not manage to build that far, but I definitely decided to just show it in here because, it kind of makes sense because, again, it will be shown in the cinematics and the train station area, especially the road underneath it, is going to be changed to a tram road, and that is very important for what we are going to do today. Right, so you can see that I was doing these infrastructure, these roads, so they would copy the shape of the curvature of the pond. Later, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to be, like when it's done. It's definitely going to be episode 17, I guess, this place. But there'll probably be some kind of an interesting decorations around the train station. Maybe some tall buildings as well. I haven't really decided about this place yet, but that's not really important for the topic of today's video. We will all see that in next episode. But in here, I think I already mentioned it in previous episode that I would like to have some kind of a tram stop, like a hub, let's say. I'm not sure if like two tram stops qualify as a hub already, but it's basically going to be that tram, the line on the tracks that we have built from that train station going over the pond, and the tracks that are like a continuation of the line that we built the Sunken tram station for, right? The one with the glass and all the nice decorations around it, right? In the previous episode, in that previous residential area. That's the track that's down here. You can see that these trams are red. This line is red. I think the one on the top is going to be purple, but that's not really important right now. So I thought that this place is just going to be like a small transfer station between. Oh yeah, transfer station. That's probably the word. So it's just going to be a small transfer station between two lines. But later I kind of figured out that I want to make it much nicer, much bigger and kind of connected with maybe some plaza or something, because I don't think that we are so close to the downtown that we really need to build like a huge, residential buildings everywhere and just really safe space. But we can definitely afford to do some plazas, some less densely built areas or something like that, right? So that's kind of what I went for. Now we are also very close to the highway, so I had to also think about that and kind of how to connect it, because we probably don't really want to have residential buildings all that close to a highway, or at least maybe with some, I don't know, walls around the highway or something like that. So I thought that I'm going to do this tram stop, and then there's going to be like a plaza going towards the highway and kind of going to create like a natural barrier between the highway and this entire place, somewhat like something like that. Okay, so anyway, that's just the general idea of what I wanted to have in this place. And then some residential buildings around it, obviously. Maybe not so tall residential buildings, or maybe just a few like towers, and then maybe like low rise, let's say, residential buildings, okay? So what can we see on the screen? I was doing the tram stop, obviously the lower one, and then we had to create some kind of a way for pedestrians to go down. So I did, again, the elevator. We are kind of doing it everywhere, so why not in here? But this elevator is actually going to be a bit different because this one is not going to work. This elevator is just a decoration because I really want to have people walking down those stairs. Even these stairs, all kinds of stairs. I think there are 3 entrances to this entire plaza. You will all see it in the cinematics much clearly, I guess. And but this point in here obviously is the most important one because it's the one that directly connects the one point of the plaza with the tram stop to the upper tram stop on the upper road, obviously. So I just did stairs on both sides of the lower platform, maybe because it's going to be safer, I don't know. But people actually do use that. They don't really cross the pedestrians in the game. They don't cross the tram road. I'm not sure if they can, because I kind of, with the traffic manager, I think I banned crossing some of those nodes around it, because people were kind of walking there weirdly into some walls and stuff, so I had to ban that. But they are now using all those pedestrian connections that I built for them, which is nice. It definitely feels much better. Now, obviously, the plaza and the tram stops are not the only thing that we have built today. We also did some of these residential districts around this, let's say, block. And also, I wanted to do one really cool project. I almost forgot that I built it. But yeah, I put it in the video anyway. It's some sort of like a parking garage. It's going to be just a simple parking lot road, and it's going to be covered. It's going to be covered, but it's going to have one portion of the roof and the wall, made from glass, so that it should be transparent, I guess, on one side is the word. And the overall structure is just going to create what I was kind of talking about, like a natural barrier. Well, it's not really natural, is it? But just a barrier between the highway and the residential areas. So the parking lot kind of felt really good for it. I did something very, very similar, not far from here, but I didn't really make it into like a garage. I just made it into like a parking lot road, and then just some trees around it, again, to kind of form some barrier between the highway and the residential areas. And I think I built some kind of a soundproof barrier as well in there, but that's not really important. What's important, what we're doing in here, right? So, like I said, some portion of the wall and one portion of the roof is going to be made from glass like this. It definitely looks very similar to what I did in the previous episode for that corridor for the for the trains. And I liked it, so I'm just going to use that element, that architectural element, let's say, in different places as well. And obviously, roof is going to be made from grass as per usual. But I don't think I put any kind of trees on this roof, because I don't think it really made much sense, even though it probably could have been done like that. But, it's just a different approach, I suppose. So, back in the plaza again. That's kind of going to be the theme of today's video. Well, we are almost halfway through, but still. This video is definitely going to go to the plaza a lot. Obviously, it's the most, the biggest highlight of this build. So, obviously, we need to look at it a bit more than some different places. Now, the road on top of the plaza is something that I was not exactly sure of. I first made it from that... I'm not sure what it's called, just the vanilla. Well, it's not technically vanilla, but because I'm using the better tracks, but whatever. I just made it using this road. This is obviously not the vanilla road. This one has the vanilla tracks, though, unfortunately. But it's the one that has the trams in their lanes in the middle, and obviously cars on the side. It's a very nice alternative to the really wide tram avenue, because it provides, like, cars, obviously, and it's kind of wide, so it doesn't look so cramped on the street, I suppose, with with the vanilla tram road that has the same lane for trams and cars, which is not really what I really want to use in the city pretty much at all. At least in places where I can afford to not do that. Now, the inside of the plaza, as you can see, we are already having pretty much the shape of the plaza done, and the plaza is sunken. I wanted to, at first, have the upper road completely elevated and maybe have the plaza go underneath it, but I later decided that I'm just going to do it like this. So there's going to be like a natural, like a rock wall, like a cliff side, let's say, on that upper road, or from the upper road going down into the sunken plaza area. And we have something very, very similar going on on the other side of plaza. We can see it right here. So I later decided that I'm just going to have this retaining wall. I'm not sure if this is called a retaining wall. Maybe it is. And this fits in here just perfectly. It's kind of a shame that the texture between those X-shaped concrete whatever elements are, you know, the texture for the grass is not exactly the same as the grass that I have. It's slightly different, so I just put a lot of trees and bushes in there, and it really turned out looking great. So really satisfied with that build, how it turned off. I did a lot of cinematics. You will see those in the end of today's video. And yeah, I hope you will guys like it too. Anyway, like I said, that place, the plaza, the tram stops, definitely not the only thing we did in today's episode, although it is the main highlight of it, and definitely the place that is most finished from all the things that we have did today. So these places that I'm going to do now, all the residential buildings around this area, I'm not exactly saying that they are 100% done. Well, some of these places are far from being done, especially the buildings that I will later do. But like I said, I just wanted to concentrate, or maybe I didn't say it yet, I'm not sure. But I definitely concentrated on that plaza, on the tram stop plaza, because I definitely wanted to have it finished. Because it's, again, I probably said it a million times already, but you know, what am I supposed to say in these commentaries, right? So definitely a place that I wanted to concentrate on, and definitely a main highlight of what I did in here. And a lot of these residential buildings, especially the places around them, like some gardens or just, you know, some back alleys around these buildings, I will definitely do those later as well, more decorated. I already prepared some buildings, some blocks of buildings around this place, like this one, for example. This is the continuation of the lower tram road. And I wanted to place an elementary school down here, because I was definitely neglecting all kinds of like service buildings and all that. So I placed one down there, and then I just wanted to start having the idea of what I'm going to do around it. So I placed down these buildings. Again, no idea what they're called. I'm kind of using them a long time. I have used them in Rockdale. I think those were the first Rico buildings that I have ever placed. These big residential buildings, because they look really, really nice, and obviously very, very typical, or unique, I guess is the word, right? So I wanted to start doing some kind of a bigger block out of these buildings. Not sure if it's going to be the topic of the next episode. It might be. Not sure if I'm going to keep building in that particular area, because I kind of want to shift my attention more to that train station that we have seen at the start of today's video, or even in the previous video. But we will see. We will see about that. So again, I'm going to repeat myself again, but these places, just to, you know, make it clear, these places with these residential buildings are not done. Some of these just rough detailing, I should maybe call it. That's just what I did for this episode, to kind of start those places, because I just had some idea for those places and just wanted to start it, right? Every time you have some idea, you kind of need to, you know, go for it. Otherwise, you will forget it, and maybe you just think about something that's not as good later, right? Now, in this place, this is something that we have neglected for a long time. Well, I neglected it. I'm not sure if you can see it, but we are on the side of that residential hive that we have been doing, again, back in episode 5, and kind of finishing it in the previous episode, right? But we have not finished this place that is directly connected to the highway. So I just put some few residential buildings in here, and then some of these retaining walls, and on top of that, a soundproof barrier with some decorations, some trees, and all that. So in the end, this place actually turned out looking all right. I will have some cinematics from this place, even though it will kind of overlap what we did last time. Now we are coming towards the end of today's video. I really like how the tram stop place turned out. Even though the city definitely has no shortage of some detailed tram stops, this one is something slightly different, which is great, that it's not just some copy-paste stuff. And again, I really like how it ended up looking, even with its surroundings. Hope you guys like it too, together with the rest of today's video, of course. Next video will be on Wednesday and Friday from now on. It will be the Industries Let's Play, and Aurelia is obviously on Sunday. Oh, and by the way, this episode of Aurelia is the 100th video on this channel. Yay! Anyway, guys, on to the cinematics. Thank you for watching, and if you want, leave a like, comment, share, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Goodbye.